It's time now for Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein.
I love that you get cold when it's 71 degrees out. I love that it takes you an hour and a half to order a sandwich.
I hate it when you're not around and the fact that you didn't call. But mostly I hate the way I don't hate you. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Not even at all.
If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris. He's looking at you, kid.
I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
You complete me.
Just shut up. You had me at hello.
A big part of our lives are relationships, particularly relationships in the context of dating and mating. Let's talk about it with your host, Karly Stein.
Hello, welcome to Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein on tapthemikradio.com. Oh, I'm very excited for this show today because we are talking about...
No, I've borked a lot of women in my day.
You bork?
Hold up. Yo, answer this question. Are you a virgin? Are you a virgin?
Yeah, not since I was 10.
It all makes sense. You're a virgin.
I am... Shut up.
How does that happen?
He's a fucking virgin.
Oh.
I knew it. That makes so much sense, man. Look, he's a virgin.
Wait,
You guys are hilarious.
All right. Come on, don't be mean.
I'm not being mean. I'm trying to help the partner out. I'm trying to say I want to get you laid.
Very, very interesting topic that some adult men deal with, and a lot of people who don't really wonder what's going on. So today on the show, I have Frank Kermit, and we'll be speaking about adult male virgins. So Frank is an expert dating and relationship coach in private practice in Montreal and for the matchmaking industry. With over 15 years experience helping singles and couples use his original emotional analysis system. He is the author of over 20 books and 25 audio programs on dating relationships, including the Adult Male Virgin Handbook. And I'm a woman. It's my time, for women. So I'm going to bring him on the line here. Hi, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing great, Karly. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. It's a beautiful day here in Colorado. So I'm really interested to talk about, this topic because, we've seen almost everyone, I think, has seen the movie 4-Year-Old Virgin. And, of course, this topic was made a kind of a big joke in that movie, but at the same time, it's not a joke to a lot of adult males. So how did you get involved in working with, coaching people and coaching adult male virgins?
Well, I got to tell you, I never set out to be in this business at all. The industry chose me. I didn't choose it. I basically went through some very bad things in my life, and I needed coaching. So I went through the process, and this is before coaching was even a real industry for the dating niche. I was stood up at my prom, lost my ex-fiancée to one of my best friends, and then I hung out with a girl for about 2 years who insisted we could never be married because I was of a different race, religion, and culture. And after 2 years of hanging out with her, she announces to me she's getting married to someone who's of a different race, religion, and culture. And I asked her, well, wait a minute, why did you choose him? Why not me? What did he do that I didn't do? And the only thing that was really different between us is that he continued to pursue her. She told me, I didn't plan for it to happen. It just happened. He seduced me. So that night I went home. I was still feeling the pain of losing my ex-fiancée. I had never really dealt with getting stood up at the prom, being humiliated in front of my graduating class that night. And I was contemplating suicide that night. And I was thinking, okay, if one bad thing happens to me, then it's on the other person. 2 bad things happened to me, I just kept making bad choices. But when 3 major devastating things happened to me, the common element in every single one of those issues was me. That's when I took accountability. I said, never again, this has to change, and either I'm going to figure out dating and relationships or I am going to kill myself. And that began a multi-year journey where I read everything I could get my hands on, and I experimented with everything. So if a book says, bring flowers and chocolates and say this, I would try it. If another book said, be distant, be aloof, I tried that. It was 3 years of trial and error. And in that trial and error, I got a few dates, but it never went all the way to sex. It never resulted in me having a girlfriend. And then one day, after 3 years of working at this, after a 5-year sexual dry spell, I finally had sex again. And within 6 months of that, I was juggling 5 girlfriends and lovers at the same time where they all knew that I was seeing other people. There was no cheating involved. I documented everything. Everything I'd learned, everything I tried, every failure, as well as every success. And I was looking for repeating behavior patterns that led to it. It wasn't just do this, it was why did it work? And I kept testing these theories. These became my emotional needs theories. And at the time, my goal was to do things like get back my ex-fiancée, which I did. After 7 years apart, I got back my ex-fiancée. We were together for about 2 months, but I got closure on that relationship. I went from being dumped on Valentine's Day to having a poly date, which is to have a date with 2 people on the same Valentine's Day dinner date. I made all of these changes in my life, and I still wasn't interested in being a coach. What ended up happening then was that friends of mine were saying, hey, I see you made changes in your life. Can you tell me what you do? So they would take me out for a coffee, and I'd tell them what I do, and they'd write it down, and then they'd go off and try it. And then they started telling their friends, so I would get phone calls. Listen, Joey says that you really helped them out. Can you help me out too? I'll take you out to lunch. Okay, I'll meet some guy and who's a friend of Joey's, and next thing I know, I'm meeting groups of guys in coffee shops, just wanting to hear what I did to make these changes. At one point, I was getting fed up, so I decided, let me write a book, and then instead of people asking me, I'll just say, here, read the book, it has everything. So that's what I did. The opposite happened. I wrote one book, people bought it, they read it, and then they had even more questions. So I wrote another book. And now I'm about to publish my 25th book in a couple of weeks. And that's where it all started. I really did not factor in being a coach as a profession. It's just that it just seems that I had enough people knocking on my door, and I said, well, okay, let's take a shot. Let me make something happen here. So that's how I got into it. At one point, sorry?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's amazing. I interview, dating and relationship coaches all the time, and our paths seem to be similar, different in so many ways. But the common theme is this profession is chosen by the universe, God, whatever your belief system is, for particular people.
Yeah. That's it. That's pretty much it. What I ended up finding was that a number of the guys coming to me were adult male virgins. And to this day, it's still about 25% of my practice. So I started to write a book about all of my experiences helping virgins, saying this is specifically to help adult male virgins. And that's just basically where it all started. Got it.
I'm fascinated, actually. So how does a man end up an adult male virgin?
Okay, well, there's a number of reasons. One of them is they have a certain value system attached to sex. These are guys who, if they had the opportunity to have a one-night stand, would turn it down. If they felt that they were dating a girl but they didn't really like her, they wouldn't just have sex for the sake of having sex. They would feel wrong about that. These are guys that refuse to pay for sex. The majority of them, when they finally do have sex, they attach a certain meaning to it. They don't want to have sex for sex sake. They actually want it to be within the confines of some kind of a relationship. They want it to mean something. So that's one of the first things. Another reason that a man might end up a virgin is that he spends so much time trying to make himself better, to have a better career, to get a better car, have a better home. I'm going to get better, and then I'll go out into dating. I'm going to get better, and then go out into dating. They don't feel they're enough as is. So they spend all this time trying to get better, and one day they wake up and they realize, wait a minute, I'm in my 30s and I still don't have a girlfriend. What happened? What did I miss? Well, what you missed was during that time you needed to go out there and date just to get some experience, just to see if you can connect with people. Because there would have been a girl that would have thought, hey, you're enough. And they didn't see themselves as being enough, so they always try to avoid those situations. A common symptom that seems to happen with adult male virgins, and I don't want to make a blanket statement saying this is always the case, but I've seen it enough times that I think it's significant. And that is, a lot of them come from homes with a very dominant mother and an absent, strong father figure. And their goal is to seek out a woman that's going to mother them, seek out a woman that they're just trying to please and trying to make happy and get her approval. Here's the thing. When a woman acts like a man's mother, she gets turned off. And since she gets turned off, she doesn't go out with him again. And he's trying to figure out, but why? I was nice to her. I tried to make her happy. I never made a decision. I always wanted her to make the decision so that she would be happy. Not realizing that, dude, she feels like your mother, therefore she's not going to want to date you again. A lot of the adult male virgins, part of it is also their age. And what I have found with my client base, at least, up until the age of 25, they can rationalize to themselves that it's okay that they're a virgin, that they've been busy with school, busy with work, busy with trying to build a life, that it's okay that they didn't get a girlfriend yet. Once they hit the age of 25, something changes in them mentally. Now they're afraid to date a girl because they don't have any experience to talk about. They are trying to avoid conversations about, so, have you ever had a girlfriend? What are your past relationships been like? They have none. And they don't want the stigma of being known as a guy who's never had a girlfriend over the age of 25. So because they're over 25 and never had a girlfriend, it makes them afraid to go out and get a girlfriend, which would solve the problem of them never having had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's those other guys, I mean, the final group of these guys, they have one particular girl in mind. It could be a fantasy girl, or it could be a girl that they know that they've been in love with, and their attitude is, if I date somebody else, I'm going to be cheating on the girl I really like who I've never asked out. So it's trying to work with them, trying to get them to understand that this fantasy they're holding on to is not reality. And in reality, having no relationship experience does not necessarily make them the best candidate choice that she could choose. That doesn't say it makes them less of a person, but if they don't have something to offer in the way of relationship experience, how are they going to know whether an expectation they have when dating is realistic or if it's unreasonable?
Yeah.
Everybody goes into dating with certain expectations. However, until you have experience in dating, you might not realize that some of your expectations could be unreasonable.
Yeah, like this. I know that this comes up all the time for me, and it's like, they think someone's a mind reader.
Yeah.
But there's this expectation that because you are intimate with me, you should know how I think and do and operate things.
Yes, absolutely. Or if you're dating somebody, then they're the only person that you could be attracted to. You won't physically be attracted to anybody else.
Yeah.
Which is not reasonable. You don't turn off your attraction mechanism just because you happen to really care about a particular individual. You know, you may not act on those attractions, but those attractions may still be there. You have to be reasonable with that expectation.
Yeah. So let's do this, Frank. We are going to head to commercial break. You're listening to Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein on tapthemicradio.com, and we are going to further this conversation about adult male virgins at the return of the break.
Can I talk to you for a second?
You got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I hear you. Your voice carries. Get it.
You're listening to Tap the Mic Radio Network.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Tap the Mic Radio Network. We're on.
Hey, this is DJ Colossus. Join me Friday night, 7 to 11 Eastern Standard Time for the Mix Show Federation, getting you ready for the weekend. Join me as we ride the waves of top music across the board, pumping out positive vibes to start your weekend ride. Only on tapthemicradio.com. We're on.
We are back on Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein with my special guest, Frank Kermit, and we are discussing adult male virgins. And we just had a great, enlightening conversation about how someone becomes an adult male virgin. But, so Frank, how does one identify someone who is an adult male virgin, like from the opposite side?
Okay, if you're trying to figure out if the person that you're dealing with is a virgin, here are some signs. And for the adult male virgins who are listening, I want you to be aware that your friends and family probably suspect it. You may not be fooling people the way you think you're fooling them just because they don't bring it up to you. If they're not bringing it up to you, it's probably because either they feel embarrassed about it, they're worried that you will feel embarrassed about it. So just because nobody's brought this to your attention, don't assume that they aren't already seeing the signs. Sign number 1, you have never had a girlfriend. You have never brought a girl over to meet your friends, to meet your family, so they start to wonder. Guy's never had a girlfriend, and, you know, maybe he's paying for it, maybe he's having one-night stands, but he's never around women that are showing interest in him. Every time he is around a girl, he may be showing interest in her, but he's not doing anything about it. He's not asking her out. The conclusion is he's probably haven't. Another sign is that they never talk about sex at all, so they get very defensive. They make comments like, that's wrong to talk about, and let's not be disgusting. Or it might be the complete opposite. They might be at the other extreme where they're always talking about sex. They're trying to prove how much they know. They're trying to constantly make jokes about it. They're trying to be like those sitcoms, sex-crazed characters, the Dan Fieldings, the Quagmires, where the character is just so hyper into sex that it becomes funny, and they're trying to emulate that in order to make up for the fact that they don't really have anything to contribute. Another sign, and this is where people get caught more than they realize, they have a lot of opinions about how a relationship is supposed to be. And when I'm coaching an adult male virgin, this is one of the areas that I have to focus on with them. They have a lot of preconceived notions about how things are supposed to be when you date, how things are supposed to be in a relationship. When anybody who has some relationship experience knows, you're dealing with human beings. We are not perfect, and our relationships will not be perfect. And trying to explain to somebody that, yeah, sometimes a person's going to make a mistake, even if they care about you. And yeah, they're going to say the wrong thing or do something that hurts you because they're not perfect. They will go into, well, that's not the way it should be. Well, that is the way it is, and you have to deal with it. A guy who maybe just has a very deep sense of unworthiness. He doesn't go after what he wants. He's even discouraging other people from going after what they want. One of the things I teach adult male virgins is that one of the reasons they're still virgins is because of the sexual attention paradigm. In the sexual attention paradigm, generally speaking, men are on the projecting end of sexual attention, women are on the receiving end. A guy who does not go after what he wants, a guy who does not take a chance and put himself out there and risk rejection and ask women out and make a move trying to take a date and bring it to the next level, if he does not do those things, chances are it's not going to come to him, because women are on the receiving end of sexual attention, so they don't have the same level of motivation to make that first move.
Mm-hmm.
So he may not be comfortable making that first move, and if he has this sense of unworthiness where he doesn't make a first move in other areas of his life, that might be a sign that he probably doesn't have a love life.
Yeah.
And another sign is that if the guy has been raised to be a nice guy. Again, when we're dealing with the dominant mothers and the absent fathers, most of the adult male virgins were raised to be good husbands, but not necessarily the kind of men their own mothers would be interested in dating. I really want to make this clear. So the guy is going to be raised to be a good husband. You got to treat women with respect, and you got to be nice, and you got to be caring, and you got to be a provider, and those things are good. But in absence of some assertiveness, in absence of halting her mothering instinct, that's what I teach in my emotional needs theories. These guys come across as really, really nice guys to the point where women either get turned off or, at best, they feel neutral. They see him as a good potential friend, but they just don't see him as a potential lover or boyfriend. So that's how you can help spot an adult male virgin. I got one more, and this one may be offensive. This might be offensive. Many adult male virgins are assumed by their friends and especially their family that they may be closeted homosexuals.
Yeah.
So, and the way I know this is that when a lot of these guys finally start getting girlfriends, they start dating, that's when all the friends and family will come up to them and say, wow, I'm so glad you got yourself a girlfriend. By the way, I had always just assumed you were gay, but you weren't ready to accept your sexuality. In fact, I work with somebody who's gay, and I thought that I might introduce you one day when you're ready. But now that I see you have a girlfriend, I realize, oh, okay, so I was wrong. Your friends and family may be just assuming that you're not comfortable with your own sexual orientation and that you might be in the closet. Now, if you are gay, nothing wrong with that. I want you to love yourself. I want you to go out and find love. I want you to be happy. I want you to have a great life. But if you're straight and you are not making a move to try to be with women in your life, it will happen that the people around you may assume something about your sexual orientation that you are unaware of. And you're only going to find out once they see you've crossed that threshold.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And, there's, you can recall times when you've wondered about people. So, yet it may be controversial, but it actually makes a ton of sense. And I want to get back to, talking about nice guys, and because that's an area that I focus on a lot. In fact, with my upcoming book, it's going to be a big area of focus. And so what other, have you noticed, what other environments create this nice guy besides, being raised by single mothers with a father absent?
Well, they're brought up to feel guilt and shame relating to anything masculine. Being masculine means you're going to be assertive and you're going to go for stuff. Oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be greedy. You should be happy with what you have. Oh, you don't need to be in charge of the project. Let somebody else do it. Always think about other people before you think about yourself. Unto themselves, those aren't necessarily bad lessons, but it's about calibration. There are times when you need to think about other people and let the other person go first. But there are times when you have to be assertive and think about what's in your best interest. And when you keep putting other people ahead of yourself, that is one of the things that, yes, that makes you a nice guy, but it also means that your needs over the long term will not be fulfilled. And going for something, and it could be something as simple as this. You've been working at the same job for 3 years. You have gotten an excellent performance review each and every time, but you feel guilty or you feel shame for asking for a raise. Because you've been raised to believe that, hey, you should just be happy with what people give you and you don't have to necessarily push for more, and you should be content and don't rock the boat and don't cause trouble and don't make people feel uncomfortable. Well, that type of guilt and shame keeps somebody really nice because the desire to be liked is more important to them than the desire to be respected. And this is one of the core things I teach men. You have to be respected, not liked. And I always use the following example. If your kid is being bullied at school, let's say you're an adult, you have a family, and it's your kid being bullied at school. Now, you can either go to the school, argue with the principal, speak to the teachers, make yourself an annoying parent, make yourself that parent who's not going to be liked. But if you do that, your child is safe. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to be respected instead of liked? And most people would say, yeah, I would do that. I would do that. Here's the reality. If you're not used to demanding respect instead of being liked in other areas of your life, when something happens and it's your kid, you won't have the practiced behavior to go in there and fight for your kid. Everybody thinks, well, if I was in that situation, that's what I would do. No, you wouldn't. You don't have the practiced behavior. And that's a real shakeup for some people. It makes them realize, now, wait a minute, this isn't just about me. This is about an ongoing behavioral process that I need to change. And if I'm not willing to be disliked in order to say, this is my boundary, you will not cross it. If you're not in a position to try and protect yourself, you can't guarantee you're going to protect anybody else, whether it's the woman you love or the kids you want to have.
How we're raised is very, very reflective of how we are as adults. I'm finding with a lot of people. And I tell men this all the time, and those that fall in the nice guy category hate it when I say this, but I say women like a bad boy. They want you to take control. They want you to move forward. They want you to, pin them up against the side of a wall. Because women are taken care of so much that, it's actually quite relaxing to just have someone else take control.
The way I explain that aspect to the nice guys, because a nice guy, remember, let's look at his reality. He's always counseling his female friends. He is their male friend therapist when she's constantly complaining about the bad boys.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get that women like the bad boys. The way I explain it to nice guys is to say this. It's not that women like the bad boys. It's that women emotionally respond to behaviors that bad boys exhibit.
Yes.
She may not like that he's a bad boy, but she responds to the fact that he's assertive. She responds to the fact that he halts her mothering instinct. When a nice guy has a woman behaving like his mother, he welcomes it, and that's the turnoff. One of the things I teach all nice guys to say, including the adult male virgins, at some point on every date you ever have with a woman, say the 3 magic words that will make her see you differently. Here are those words. Stop mothering me. Those 3 magic words, stop mothering me, reminds the woman that, hey, I don't have to mother this guy. I am relieved of the burden of having to be in charge. I can let go. I can enjoy the bride. I can enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Because that's what she's emotionally responding to.
I like it. I was just trying to picture myself in a scenario if someone said that to me, and I'd be like, I'd really be taken back.
Yeah. At first, you might feel, wait a minute, who are you to tell me that? Now, if he turns around and says, oh, I'm sorry, Karly, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. Boom, you're in mothering mode. Now you have to take care of a little boy. But what if we were on a date and you start saying, you know, Frank, you really should do this and you should do that. I'll put my hand up and I'll say, stop. Stop mothering me. When you're with me, we have fun. You may be taken aback at that moment, but right then and there you realize, I'm not a guy you have to mother. I will halt the mothering instinct. Now you have a choice. The way I teach it in emotional needs, you're either a man's mother or you're his lover. You can't be both. So if I halt your mothering instinct, you may be upset in the moment, but if I can show that I can even handle you being upset and that I don't crumble whenever a woman is upset, you know that you can really let yourself go, that you don't have to be the strong one, the independent one all the time, that you actually can have the child within you cater to. That makes it more open to say, wow, I see this Frank guy as a potential lover.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
When I'm working with... Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay. The last point I want to make is that when I'm talking to nice guys, I don't want to turn them into bad boys. I don't want to turn them into something that they are morally against. What I explain to them is, if a woman can find these masculine traits in a nice guy, she'll choose the nice guy with masculine traits over the bad boy.
Right.
Why? Because the nice guy who relieves her of the mothering instinct, who is assertive, who will handle her sexuality. So if a girl likes to be pinned up against the wall, if he can provide that, she'll go with the nice guy who offers that and not the bad boy. She opts to go for the bad boy because it's the lesser of two evils. Do I go with the bad boy who I emotionally respond to even though I know he's a jerk? Or do I go with the nice guy who I know would be better for me, but I don't respond to him emotionally at all? She will opt for the jerk if the nice guy can demonstrate and say, look, I'm nice, and I'm a dork, but I'm also assertive when it's time to be assertive. I will also stand up for myself when you cross a line with me. And if I'm able to stand up for myself when you cross a line with me, despite the fact I'm attracted to you, you know you can rely on me to protect you from the world.
Exactly, yeah. And that's, one of the key things a lot of this comes down to is, women have three key needs, and so do men. Women want to be cherished, valued, and protected. So I've noticed myself when on a date and whatnot, and like sometimes where there's like a lack of protection or something, like went once and a guy did to me, and the guy I was on a date with was looking at something, and he he didn't he didn't even respond. He was like looking at his phone or something, and it was like libido just died a little that day, in terms of my attraction to him, because he wasn't paying attention.
Exactly. He's not, in my speak, not addressing your emotional needs. So you either are going to feel like his mother or his lover, and if he fails to address your emotional needs, you start to feel like the adult in the situation, having to give him social lessons. Hey, buddy, it's inappropriate to look at your phone when you're on a date with a girl. Well, if you have to tell him that, you're starting to feel like his mother. You're not going to feel like wanting to be intimate with him.
Exactly. So we are going to head to commercial break again. You're listening to Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein on tapthemikradio.com, and we'll be right back.
Tap the Mic Radio Network. We're on.
Hi, this is Gail Scott Key of Gail Scott Key's Entertainment Now on the brand new Tap the Mic Radio Network. This is a show where we showcase some of your favorite stars from the past, future, and now. So tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Tap the Mic Radio Network. We're on.
Napa know-how. The Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolored paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how. People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Who's talking to you? The voices inside my head.
You're listening to Tap the Mic Radio Network.
We're back with Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein on tapthemikradio.com, and you are listening to our conversation with Frank Kermit. He's a dating and relationship coach out of Montreal, and we are talking about adult male virgins today. So Frank, what can be done to help an adult male virgin lose their virginity?
Okay, now there's some very specific things that they can start doing right away, all right? The first thing I want you to do, if you're an adult male virgin listening to this, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to identify the social circles you hang out with. And you have to ask yourself, is this social circle helping me meet single women for me to date or not? If you're hanging out with a number of married couples, let's say, they've been friends of yours forever and you get together with them once a month, but they've all paired up and you're the last odd man out. My advice is that for the period of 6 months to a year, stop hanging out with them because they're not able to introduce you to anybody. Or you start asking them, listen, you enlist their aid. Do any of you know a single girl you can introduce me to and set me up on a blind date, and be willing to go on those blind dates? And usually it doesn't happen. The friends will say, well, I don't really know anybody, or they don't want to get involved. They don't want to risk the friendship by setting you up with someone and it doesn't work out. Their overall attitude is, we can't help you, so stop hanging out with them and use that time to go out and meet new people. If you're with a social circle where you hang out with a bunch of your buds and you're going out for beer and it's about 3 or 4 guy friends and you're all single, but you're not encouraging each other to go out and meet women, you're not going places where you can go out and go on double dates or go to a place where there's women to meet and encourage each other to do that. If you just encourage each other to sit down and have a beer and forget it, don't worry about it, it's not that important anyway, find new friends. You don't have to dump the friends you have, but you have to stop hanging out with them as much. The next thing you have to do, you got to be a better candidate. So this means what it is, look at what it is you have to offer. One of the things I tell every adult male virgin to do is I say, go get a weekend massage course. Just get a weekend certification, participation in massage, just basic massage. Take a 2-day course, get a piece of paper to put up on your wall. It'll get you used to touching another human being. It'll teach you how to give a great massage. If you don't have the money to take a course like that, you go to the bookstore, go to a used bookstore, grab every book you can on how to give a massage, read them, watch YouTube videos on it, start studying them, start massaging your friends so you can get some practice. It'll get you used to physically having contact with other people and letting other people physically have contact with you, so that when you're on a date and you want to reach over and hold her hand, you're not intimidated by the fact that you're not used to how it feels to have someone's hand in yours. The next thing I'm going to advise all virgins, it's better that you cut down on your masturbating. Anytime you allow yourself to have that sexual release, if you masturbate every day, bring it to every 2 days. Then bring it to every 4 days. You got to get to the point where you're not masturbating so that the only relief you get from the sexual energy building up in you is to actually go out and talk to girls, to actually go out and hold hands with girls. You'll be more motivated to go in for a kiss because you have all this sexual energy that's not getting released. When you're masturbating on a daily basis, it kills the motivation to change anything in your life. But you're not feeling fulfilled. You're just going for that quick release. It's over, it's done. This is why I say, cut the masturbating in half. Get used to feeling uncomfortable. Get used to that sexual tension building up in your body so that when you're with a girl and you two are looking into each other's eyes and there's that moment, that second, where it's a little bit uncomfortable, but it's also a little bit exciting, and you got the anticipation and you start breathing more. If you're not used to handling that emotion, what are you going to do as a guy? You're going to look away. She needs you there, guys. She needs you to be focused. She needs you to lock eyes with her. She needs to know that she is special to you and that in that moment there is nothing else in the world except you and her. And draw her in just with your eyes, and the kiss is going to happen. But you got to be used to handling the uncomfortable sexual tension that exists between two people who are attracted to each other.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
The next thing is just date. You don't have to, you got to stop thinking about, oh, I got to find the one. I got to find the one I'm going to be with forever. And if she's slightly off that, if she doesn't meet every criteria that's on my list, I just won't do it. You have to see dating as experimentation. It is a learning experiment. You don't go on a date to find the one you're going to marry. You go on a date to learn about yourself. Because until you do, it's all theory. You can say all you want. Oh, I wouldn't mind dating a smoker at all. Okay, go out and date a smoker. Now tell me if you can handle it or not. Don't tell me, I would never judge a girl on her past. Fine, date a girl who has a past. Prove it. Don't say, well, I could never date anybody of this other religion. Really? How do you know? Try dating somebody of that other religion. It might turn out that you have a really great connection. You have to go out and date and learn about yourself. It's not life or death. Okay? It's not a marriage-only option. You got to date as many people as possible just so that you can find out what's out there. And another thing, stop telling people you're a virgin. Stop trying to prove that you're not. It's a non-issue. If anybody asks you that question directly, I don't talk about certain things in public. That's the answer you have to give. I don't share that kind of information. If a girl asks you about your relationship history when you're on a date, I'll share that with you if you and I get serious. If we don't get serious, I don't share things about my past like that. I protect people's privacy. If we become serious, I'll tell you everything you need to know. Have a place where you are able to go for sex. If you're living with your family and you have no place to bring a girl for sex, either change your living arrangements, maybe reorganize the living space somehow. I know one guy, he moved into the family basement that had a separate entrance, and he decorated it so that he could bring a girl over, and he went from having no love life to an incredible love life, just because he had a place to bring the girl.
Yeah, that's a big factor.
Yeah. So those are the things that, and by the way, when I say get your own place or get your place ready for sex, that doesn't mean just have a place. I want you to decorate it in a way as if you are bringing a very wonderful date to your place that night. You don't pull out the candles out of the cupboard just because you have a date. Wherever those candles would be, that's where you leave them permanently. No, you don't put certain bed sheets on the bed just because somebody's coming over. Those bed sheets should be your permanent bed sheets. We're creating a lifestyle here that makes it okay for you to have sex spontaneously. And if you happen to meet somebody and you know you have a great place to bring her, you'll be even that much more motivated to say, I got a really neat thing at my place. Why don't you come on over for dinner?
So, and then what about telling people if you're a virgin?
First of all, you shouldn't be talking about your sexual history with anybody until the two of you have reached a point in your relationship where you're making some kind of a serious long-term commitment. Your sexual history, whether you're a man or a woman, is nobody's business. And I give the same advice to women that I do for men, regardless of your sexual experience. If we get serious, we can share sexual history information. But until that time, until we're making that level of commitment, it's not something you need to know. Now, do you need to let somebody know if you have a sexually transmitted disease? Well, there are cases in law now where people knowingly infect others, and they are being brought legally to court for that. So if there's something that you have to warn somebody about, then yes, you do need to do that. But beyond that, you don't really need to share your sexual history. If you're involved with somebody right now and now you're cheating on someone and it could put the life of the person you're with into jeopardy, then do the right thing, be ethical, and say, by the way, you need to know this. But in terms of who or how many, or if you're a virgin, it's nobody's business. You can choose to share it, but like anything else, I would reserve sharing that information once you're already in a serious relationship. If you're young, if you're in your early 20s and you want to admit, I'm a virgin and so is she and so on and so forth, we haven't had that much experience, that's fine. But when you're in your 30s, some people will actually be afraid. They'll actually run. And I know men and women in my client base who have said, I told the person I was a virgin, they refused to ever date me again. They don't want the pressure of being the first. They're worried I'm going to get attached. They're worried that I'm going to have a bad precedent. And so my advice really is, at some point, you don't need to share anything until, once the two of you get into a serious relationship, which for some people can take months of dating and months of having sex before they consider themselves in a serious relationship enough. You don't need to share that. And after you have sex for the first few times and you've experimented and you found what you like and you found what your partner likes, because each body is different. Each body responds differently. We need to leave our egos at the door and say, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm incredibly skillful, I still have to learn about the human being and the body that person has in front of me. So I got to find out what works for that person, because one person might consider you the greatest lover in the world. Another person says, boy, it didn't do anything for me.
And I'm going to reiterate this is very important with, have the STD talk if that is an issue, just because, there are legal cases. It's also someone's health you're dealing with, and you just don't want to go down that path. And I think Reed Mahako, he's a sex coach and the sex geek, he calls it your 30-second elevator speech. So you're listening to Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein, tapthemicradio.com, and we will be right back.
tapthemicradio.com.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Tap the Mic Radio Network. We're on.
Hey, this is DJ Colossus. Join me Friday night, 7 to 11 Eastern Standard Time for the Mix Show Federation, getting you ready for the weekend. Join me as we ride the waves of top music across the board, pumping out positive vibes to start your weekend ride. Only on tapthemicradio.com. We're on.
Welcome back. Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein on tapthemicradio.com. We have Frank Kermit on the line, and we've been spending the last hour talking about the adult male virgin and, ways that they can overcome being a virgin. And so, Frank, how do people get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of me is to go to my website, franktalks.com. That's Frank, F-R-A-N-K, Talks, it's plural, franktalks.com. It has all of my books there for sale. It has all of my audio programs for sale, including the Adult Male Virgin Handbook and the Adult Male Virgin audio series. I have a blog there with lots of information, a couple of hundred different posts about different things that I cover. Excerpts of my books are there. Previews of my audios are there. And I'm available for coaching over Skype, over phone. My rates are very reasonable, and I do this 24/7, so I can accommodate your schedule. Most of my clients sign up for pay-as-you-go coaching. They'll pay for a block of time. Let's say they'll pay for 5 hours of coaching, and then they call me as they need me in the middle of a crisis. So one of the last adult male virgin clients I had, he was calling me repeatedly over the course of the same day leading up to the date where he lost his virginity. So he would okay, something's come up. I got to talk to somebody. I'm nervous. They'll call me up out of the blue. We just deduct the minutes because it's billed by the minute. We talk for 15, 20 minutes. Are you ready? Are you okay? Yeah, good. Hang up. Goes off on his date. Calls me up after his date for 10 minutes just to say, Frank, I just wanted to let you know it finally happened. And then I talk to him more. I talk him down from his nerves and the anxiety that he might be feeling. Sometimes a guy might be dealing with a panic attack and they need to talk to somebody right now. That's the way I do most of my coaching.
Got it. Very cool. Very cool. And on your website, you also have some free handbooks, it looks like. So the Adult Male Virgin Handbook, as well as I'm a Woman, It's My Time workbook for women.
Yeah, I coach women as well, and it has some of the same information as my coaching workbook for men. I'm a man, that's my job, except for chapters 2 and 3. Chapter 2 and 3 are specifically geared for women, as the way I coach women is a little different than the way I coach men.
Yes, we operate very differently. So, thank you so much for being on the show. It has been absolutely fascinating to hear, what you had to say about adult male virgins. I'm glad we picked this topic to talk about today.
Karly, it's been a wonderful experience. I look forward to being a guest again in the future.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And everyone, if you want to find out more about me, you can visit www.karlystein.com. And we look forward to next week on Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein on tapthemicradio.com.
Thanks for listening to Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein. Heard every Sunday and Tuesday at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. Her website is karlystein.com. That's Karly with a K. You can like and visit with Karly at her Facebook group or her Facebook page, Dating, Mating, and Relating with Karly Stein, and on Twitter with @Karly Stein.
Frank Talks is sponsored in part by the Adult Male Virgin Seminars and Telephone Consultations. If you are an adult and want to get a handle on this once and for all, you need this seminar. Being an adult male virgin can be most stigmatizing in today's society. You feel like a failure in the eyes of the mass culture around you, alienated from your male friends who all talk about their sexual conquests, and you must hide this shameful secret lest they use it against you. And the very personal pain, anguish, and despair that cannot be described by words that haunts you every moment of your life. Enough is enough. It is time for male virgins to take charge of their sex lives. Frank gives you the rules of winning in this seminar, the Adult Male Virgin Seminars and Telephone Consultations. Make your first time the best time of her life. Only available at franktalks.com. Frank helps adult boys turn into men.
Need help with love, sex, dating, or relationship issues? Help from Frank Kermit, the best-selling author and Canada's most international relationship coach, is only a click away at franktalks.com.
Need help with love, sex, dating, and relationships? Visit franktalks.com.
If you need help with your relationships, my buddy Frank, he's got some tips. Just go to franktalks.com. His advice is better than your mom's. He knows what you're going through, 'cause Frank has been there too. So log on to franktalks.com. franktalks.com.